up, boys and girls? How are you? Week 2 NFL live stream, betting pros, Matt Perrault, Andrew Erickson. You got a whole lot of Patriot love coming at you. No, I'm kidding. We got a lot of things to get going here with today, but great to see you, Andrew. Back for another year. Great to see you.
Perrault, glad to finally welcome you to the team full time. Super excited. Break it down here. Week 2 slate. Patriots coming off a big win. Home opener today. Boston is rowdy. I'm ready. I'm fired up.
Take him to the hill. It's the new slogan. Yeah, we'll see what happens today. We'll break it down. We got a lot of good things to come at you. Erickson's got some work to do, guys. So we're going to rip through every game. We normally go an hour. We're going to roll this back to let our friends have some time before kickoff to get all the rankings, all the ins and outs ready to go for the games, the early slate. So about a 35, 40-minute show coming at you. Let's start with here, the Raiders. Everyone's talking about the Ravens. This is an incredibly popular play. This number at DraftKings is already at 9. We're at 8 at open. It's a 41 with nearly a double-digit line here, Erickson. We talking route, or can the Raiders keep it close? Because the pros are taking the points.
I think the Raiders can keep it close. Gardner Minshew, last year as a starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, went into Baltimore. They beat the Ravens overtime. They went straight up. So Minshew, I don't think is intimidated by, you're playing in Baltimore, the mystique. And what have we seen from the Ravens? They play the Chiefs. They play these superstar teams. You get the best out of them. When they play lower level competition, sometimes they play with their food a little bit. So if they're trying to establish the run with Derrick Henry, that doesn't scream to me, they're going to win by double digits if it's a slow, grinded out, run the ball. So that's why when talking about the props, Lamar Jackson, I love his under on his passing attempts because I don't think that they're going to be dropping back to throw 30 times in this game. So that's why I love that prop. And then kind of correlating it with Minshew, they're going to be throwing this entire game trying to play catch up, especially look at Minshew last week, his average depth of target under 5 yards. He's just getting the ball, distributing it to his playmakers. And if they're in garbage time, playing with a negative game script, I think he's just going to be looking for Bowers, Adams, Myers, running backs, tight ends. So quick passes. So that's kind of how I envision this game. And yeah, I think the Raiders can keep it close.
I'm on the under for the Raiders win total because I don't like this offense. I really think they are lacking an identity, and I think they're lacking a quarterback. I mean, Gardner Minshew has been okay at times during his career, but he's had years where him as a starting quarterback, I don't think him and Devontae Adams are clicking. I don't know if the running game, I know White was a big everyone's like, Zamir White, look at how many times he can run the football. Maybe. I just don't like this Raiders team. I like their defense. Secondary is a little bit questionable, but this is my only worry about turnovers and mistakes. I've stayed away from this game entirely. Everyone's teasing this game. Okay, I get it. But we told you last week here on the stream about the Bengals and the Patriots. This feels very similar to me with the Bengals and the Patriots. Now, I'm not saying the Ravens open up 0-2, but if they open up 0-2, oh my, I bet them to win the Super Bowl. So yikes, awful start to the year for them. I do think their offensive line will get better as the year progresses, but that's a huge concern. And Max Crosby could have a monster day today and really create a problem for Lamar Jackson. So I would be careful with this game. That's all I'm going to say with this. The professionals are taking the money. They're taking the points. The public thinks the Ravens are going to rout. It's one of the 3 most popular picks in the Circa Survivor, Texans and the Chargers, the other 2, for just easy walk to the window cash. Everyone likes favorites today. Just be careful. This could be a really tough day. If your card has like 8 favorites, yikes, careful, because this is the NFL here, where favorites go to die. Speaking of the Chargers, Carolina's at home. This number is now, it's all over the place. You can find a 4 and you can find a 5 and you can find 4.5 for the Chargers. How do you feel about LA going across the country to take on a Panthers team that got housed in week 1? But are they that bad that you'd back the Chargers today?
See, any other year, any other Chargers team, this would be easy place to back the Panthers because we know the Chargers is a spot where they always flop, West Coast to East Coast. But you're under the new regime with Harbaugh kind of calling the shots now. At least last week, they got it done. They were at home. They don't have any home field advantage. They still got it done against the Raiders. And you saw that the coaching, right? Harbaugh outcoached Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce is punting in 4th and 1 from Chargers territory. And that's why they lost the game. So again, is Canales going to be outcoached here? He got outcoached by Dennis Allen of all coaches in week 1. And I was backing the Panthers last week. I felt like an idiot immediately, but at least the game was over from the quick. It was like, rip the Band-Aid, done. This is over. Don't need to keep watching this game. It was quick. It was a quick defeat. So for me, I just want the under. That's what I want. I don't believe the Panthers offense can score, and I don't think the Chargers want to put up 40 points. Like, they want to run the football. That's what they want to do. Play ball control, play bully ball, not unleash Justin Herbert. And they know that to beat Bryce Young, you can score 20 points and play it even. So I just like the under in this game. I'm not touching the sides.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch this, because if the Chargers are going to have this resurrection under Harbaugh, okay, can they break that fade of going and saying a West Coast team going east against anyone? If they're dogs, if the home dog is there, that the public takes the favorite, the pros take the dog, and the pros are on the Panthers. You want to talk about our pro side today? Professionals, again, are loving the Panthers. They're going off the same cliff they went off in week 1. Are they as bad as we think? Week 1 to week 2 adjustments? I don't know. We're going to find out, though, because if they get housed at home, they could be the worst team in football, and they could have a really tough year again here. And Bryce Young might get some help in the first round, top of the draft next spring for the Panthers. So big game to watch here. I have nothing on this game. I'm just going to sit back and watch it. New Orleans and Dallas. This number opened up at 6.5. It currently is 6.5. It feels like the number is right. The total is 47. It's gone up from 44.5. Again, it's pros versus Joes, but I do think there are some professionals that are liking Dallas. I like Dallas. I haven't bet it. This was the last game that fell off my card, Andrew. I just feel like, man, 6.5 points feels heavy, but can New Orleans go in there and contend? Was last week an indication they're better than we think, or was that just the Panthers?
That was 100% the Panthers, because one of the biggest things concerning the Saints entering this year was their offensive line. One of the bottom 5 worst offensive lines in the NFL. But when you have a Panthers pass rush that's non-existent, you don't see that come up. Dallas, Mike Parsons, Mike Zimmer. This is going to be a rude awakening for Saints. So I know you said you took Dallas back on that. This is one of my best bets. Dallas minus 6. Dallas minus 6.5. Put it back on your card, Matt. That's what I'm saying. I like Dallas a lot. They crush at home. We've seen this historically. Last week people were fading them because they were playing on the road. Well, now they're at home. They're the Death Star, right? At home. So I like Dallas a lot here. I think that Derek Carr, Dennis Allen are fraudulent. They weren't playing the Panthers last week. That offensive line, the issues that they have would have shown up bigger. So I think we're going to see it this week.
It's not a Wong teaser, but it's definitely being eyed for a teaser by me. If I don't take Dallas, I'll definitely tease Dallas, because I do think Dallas wins today against New Orleans. I don't know if they cover the 6.5. I think they probably do win by 7. New Orleans, I mean, we'll see what this offense can do against Dallas's defense. How do you feel about the Cowboy defense long term?
I think that'll be opportunistic. I mean, that's kind of how they're boomer busty. They'll give up big plays, but then they create big plays with turnovers. And I mean, they have one of the best defensive players in the NFL, Mike Parsons. And when he takes over a game, look, that's what I mean. He could take over this game because that same offensive line is bad. And last week you just didn't see it because it was Carolina. So I think you can see the holes in the offensive line this week. And Derek Carr under pressure is no bueno.
Fair. I agree. Okay. This is my first play. Tampa and Detroit. Number opened up at 6.5. We're up to 8 here in Vegas. It's 7.5 at Caesars and DraftKings. We've seen some buyback. Offshore, same. Actually, there's an offshore down to 7. Wow. So we've seen some late money on Tampa come in. I'm taking plus 7.5. You can take plus 8 on this right now, Andrew. People on the comment section are telling me that I'm crazy, that this is going to be a Lions destruction of Tampa. I like Baker Mayfield. I like him and Evans. I think this defense can keep it close. I think the Lions win. Lions don't cover. Where are you on Tampa and Detroit?
Yeah, this one's tough because the lines are just so good against the spread. But when you're just looking at it from a value perspective, how can you not like the Buccaneers with the touchdown and the hook? I mean, we know both teams are going to put up points, right?
Yeah.
We know that. I love the over in this game. Honestly, that's how I play over 51.5, because there's no one on defense left for Tampa Bay. All their cornerbacks are hurt. Their starting safety, Antoine Winfield's out for this game. You have some of the Lions corners that are banged up as well. So it might just come down to a last possession. So again, if it's this close, I do think the value is on Tampa Bay, but I also can see where the Lions just win by, a touchdown, or they win by 10 just because they have to put up that many points. So for me, I just personally like the over in this game because I just see no defense in the dome at Ford Field, where games routinely go over 51.5 points. So, but again, I agree with you that the value is definitely on the Bucs at the hook with the touchdown.
Guys, you like giveaways, and we got one for you. We have an autographed Nick Chubb helmet. If you want your chance to win this signed Nick Chubb helmet for free, courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com, all you need to do is head over to bettingpros.com/contest, complete that form, and either download the Betting Pros app, leave a review for the Betting Pros podcast, any of them, or subscribe to our social media channels at Betting Pros on X and TikTok, and at BettingPros NFL on Instagram. The more actions you complete, the more entries you will receive. We'll be announcing it here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel, the winner of this. So make sure you have your notifications turned on so you can be alerted when new episodes are falling and dropping for us. And you might be the winner of that very nice autographed Nick Chubb helmet by going to bettingpros.com/contest. All right, rolling through the early slate. Green Bay hosting the Colts. Numbers down to 2. Most books. DraftKings is the outlier. They're at 3 still. They're looking for Colt money. If you like Green Bay +3, you're looking for Packer money, excuse me. If you like Green Bay, they got +3. It's 2 at most books, 41.5 here. I don't understand the play on the Packers. Is Malik Willis somebody that I don't know enough about, because I don't love the Colts, but here against the Packers, I think Indy wins this game. Where are you?
I am 100% on the Colts here. Historically speaking, last year with the Colts, right? When they were favorites, you bet them, and they would always cover as favorites. And when they were underdogs, you had to fade them into oblivion because they never covered as underdogs. And that was always when lines would flip. They would open sometimes as favorites. The line would flip to them being underdogs, and then they would lose. So the market has been spot on with backing the Colts as a favorite. Malik Willis, this line isn't big enough. We've seen this guy. He had 2 dropbacks in that game, and he got sacked on 1. He is a sack machine, and sacks kill drives. I don't think this offense is going to move the ball. Jaden Reed is banged up. He's their best playmaker. It's just going to be Josh Jacobs 30 carries, and they're going to see what happens. So yeah. I love the Colts. I love the under. The first half under. All the this game may have 20 completions total between 2 teams, honestly, between Richardson and Malik Willis, as they're not pocket passers. They're not polished passers whatsoever. So you're going to see a lot of punts in this game under. Give me the Colts.
Colts threw the ball deep a lot in last week. Now, was that opportunity, or is that what they're going to look to do here today? Be curious, because we know that Richardson can throw the ball far. His touch passes are the problem. He can run and he can chuck it. So is that going to be their offense? Like, run the quarterback, chuck it deep. Run the quarterback, chuck it deep. So I'm wondering if that's going to be the game plan here against the Packers. I guess we'll find out here as the game progresses. But at home in a dome, on turf versus outdoors it's not December, Lambeau, but it's still Lambeau. I'll be very curious. This is a great wait and watch game for me.
We also saw too, Saquon Barkley. What did he do to this Packers defense? He
True.
ran all over Jonathan. It's going to be 30 carries for Jonathan Taylor, 30 carries for Josh Jacobs. That's what I think is going to happen, because they don't need to test. They're not afraid of Malik Willis. I don't think they need to take as many shots downfield because, we need to keep up with this high-powered Packers offense. That is non-existent with Malik Willis at quarterback.
Anytime touchdown for Taylor?
Oh, yeah. Easy. He didn't score last week, so I think he'll score. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you got Saquon with 3, maybe you get 1 for Taylor today with an anytime touchdown. Cleveland and Jacksonville. All you guys are in the chat saying this is the easy money play of the day. Jaguars are at home. They're laying 3. The Browns looked horrible last week at home against the Cowboys. Number has pretty much been steady, but 2 at open, 3 flat everywhere. 41.5 from a total perspective. Look, in my contest plays, I took Jacksonville. Okay. So I like the Jags here as a contest play. I'm not sure I'm putting money on Trevor Lawrence here, but I did put a prop bet on Trevor Lawrence. Where are you on this one for the Jags?
Yeah, so I was tracking this one closely because I knew that there was some types of, they were looking at weather earlier in the week. They were looking at rain, but I'm looking at the weather report right now, and it looks clear. Like, it looks like it's not going to be super rainy. It looks like the wind is going to be under 50 miles per hour. So yeah, I like the Jags here. I mean, both the tackles are out again for the Browns. Wills is out.
Ingram got hurt in warmups. Is that true?
Yep. Yeah, I'm seeing that too. Yeah, he was a healthy scratch. So Christian Kirk, give him a little bump in the rankings for fantasy, for props. He'll be that number 1 underneath option. And someone I absolutely in love with, is Brian Thomas Jr., the rookie receiver from LSU. I think his prop, 38.5 yards. He had over 40 receiving yards in the first half alone of last week's game. And Miami was shadowing him with Jalen Ramsey as a rookie in his first game. There is nobody on there's nobody on the Browns that's going to be able to hang with Brian Thomas and his speed. So whether you want to alternate bet him with receiving yards, 70, like ladder bet, I think Thomas is set up for a massive game.
I have one bet on this game, and so far that's Trevor Lawrence over 14.5 yards rushing. I think he needs to put his Superman cape on here a little bit and really get going. I think the Browns, if they are going to do anything, they're going to blitz him. I think he'll be able to run and pick up first downs with his legs. That number is pretty low at 14.5 for Trevor Lawrence. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks here in the first week. We had, I think it was 6 quarterbacks rush for over 50 yards. in week one. Not to say we're going to get that many rushes out of Trevor Lawrence, but I do think Lawrence picks up first downs with his legs today and tries to be a little bit more active in the running game. So I'm going over 14.5 yards rushing for Trevor Lawrence here today. This game, I think, is the number one overreaction game of the week. San Francisco on the road at Minnesota. Number open at 7. We're down to 4.5. A little buyback at the South Point here in Vegas to 5. Some offshores are at 5 as well. I'm on the 49ers, Andrew. I can't understand this. I know Christian McCaffrey is really important, but the Vikings played a horrific, maybe the worst team in football last week. I don't think the Vikings are very good. 4.5. Give me the Niners. Where are you in this game?
Yeah, I like the Niners too. Again, we're trying to figure out if this is the time to fade the 49ers. It wasn't last week against the New York Jets. Is it this week on the road against the Vikings? The Vikings are going to be aggressive on defense with Flores. They're going to blitz. They're going to try to create turnovers because they know when push comes to shove, they're not going to be able to stop this 49ers offense. They want to try to create big plays. So it's whether giving up massive plays to all the skill blankers on the 49ers offense or getting interceptions or getting a sack fumble. I think that's what the Vikings are going to try to do to try to slow down Brock Purdy and company. And look, yeah, Sam Darnold was great last week against the New York Giants. This is a little bit of a different test for him, especially with Shanahan knowing Sam Darnold. He spent the entire year last year on the 49ers roster. You don't think Shanahan knows what Sam Darnold's weaknesses and strengths are? I'm pretty sure he does. So maybe we see a game that's a little bit lower scoring because these coaches are very familiar with each other. And I do respect Flores in that well-coached Vikings defense. So maybe there is an under opportunity here, but I'm not going to be all in on Sam Darnold after he beat the Giants.
I don't get the move. I mean, it's almost like I'm waiting for the buyback to happen like here the next 10 minutes. We're going to see like a dumpster truck of money come in here on the 49ers. I'm like, what am I missing? I get it. McCaffrey's really important. Is he that important? We watched last week. The Mason kid was pretty good. Like, I don't understand what we're worried about with the 49ers here today and this number coming down to 4.5. Seattle and New England. The number has come down from 3.5 to 3. The money this morning has come in on the Patriots, which I think is the right side with the hook. Not sure at 3 now. I played the under in this game at 39 at a bunch of places. Look, this is going to be an ugly football game, is it not?
I like the under. I'm not touching the sides. I'm just betting the under. It's two defensive-minded head coaches that want to run the football. Kenneth Walker's not playing. He's their explosive player on offense. Both teams just want to run the ball and not score points. That's really what the goal is. They're going to dare teams, hey, run it on us. We don't want to give up explosive plays. So I think that this is an easy under. I'm not touching this. I think that I don't have enough confidence in the Patriots because I think that a lot of what happened last week, it was the perfect storm, right? They were able to generate pressure. They were able to play ball control because they were winning the entire game. So there was never any pressure put on them from Joe Burrow in that offense. So I think that this one's just an easy under.
I can't believe I might be looking at a Colts Patriots Wong teaser. Like this is going to be wild, but people argue that say you can't play Wong teaser when it's on 3. I think when it's on 3, the idea is to get through 3. So if it's on 3, you're getting off of 3. So I don't have a problem with that. The 3 is the teaser number here that you take the Patriots at +3, you should take them up to +9, and you take the Colts at -2.5. Or sorry, you take Green Bay rather at home. So we could be a Green Bay teaser. Take the Packers at home from 2.5 or 3 and tease them up, and you've got 2 home dogs at +9. That's right now. It's essentially what I might be looking at here for a long teaser. Jets on the road against the Titans. Number opened at 4. It stayed there. Although now at the Superbook here in Vegas, we're seeing some money come in on the Titans. It's 3.5 for them. DraftKings at 3.5, 41 the total in this game. What did you make of the Jets last week? Because everyone's saying, well, wait a minute. It was game 1, really the first game ever for Rodgers with that offense on the road, back to where he played college, against arguably the best defense in football. That's why they couldn't move the football. They couldn't score. But are you concerned at all with the Jets offense?
No, I mean, Aaron Rodgers looked better than any Jets quarterback I've seen in the past 3 years, right? So for me, it's Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. That's the trifecta. Those are the guys that they get the ball to, and Aaron Rodgers can do that. That's what he showed on Monday night is I can get the ball to the top playmakers on this offense. And when I look across the field, Will Levis, I don't think he can do that. I just don't think that he has the ability to get the ball to the playmakers, especially with the Jets' suffocating defense. Sauce Gardner could take out Calvin Ridley. Maybe they can run the ball, but I don't think they'll have as much or they'll be able to match the same type of success that Mason had against this Jets defense.
Mm.
So for me, this is a good Jets bounce back spot against the Titans, who again last week they had it right, and then Will Levis vomited all over himself, giving
Right.
it to the back to the Bears. Who and I actually do like the under in this game too because the Titans defense showed up. They signed a lot of big free agents this offseason. They didn't give up a touchdown on defense to the Bears, and they still lost because of the special teams touchdown and the pick six. So I think two good defenses, and we know Rodgers. He's not one to we need to score 35 points in this game. He likes to be methodical with his approach, make the right reads, and I think that they'll win, 24-10, something like that.
Yeah, I've said it a lot. I faded the Titans. I'm on their under win total. I don't think the Callahans come in and change this offense overnight. I saw it at Nebraska. I was there when Bill did it. Now his son's doing it. I just think we take a run-heavy team, trying to make them a pass-focused with Will Levis as your quarterback. I don't know. I mean, this could be an opportunistic, like you mentioned. This could be a very big chance for this Jets defense to bounce back, because I thought the Jets defense was going to be great this year. I thought they were going to be, I sat there watching panels here in Vegas. I saw all these different people say the Jets defense is the best in football. They're going to be able to contend for the AFC East because of it. And they got shredded by the Niners. Okay, now it's Will Levis. Let's see what you do now, okay? Because if you're going to be one of the best in football, you should probably have a pick six and 2 fumble recoveries and blow the doors off the Titans today. So let's see what that defense looks like today up against this Jets offense. Guys, remember that you guys have a lot of cool things to go and be a part of, including the NFL podcast group. You guys can join the group by visiting the community tab in the Betting Pros app or by going to bettingpros.com/NFL contest. You can sync your picks, use the quick pick feature on the Betting Pros app, and get a chance to win free weekly and monthly prizes. Elevate your betting strategy and join the conversation today at bettingpros.com/NFL contest. Continuing now as we head to the afternoon. And one more game to get to. Giants on the road at Washington. I have one play on Jaden Daniels because I don't think he's going to run wild here today. I think the Giants defense is going to try to key in on him because I don't think he can throw. There is massive disagreement here as to what happens here. I've seen professionals on the Giants left and right. I think the Giants are the worst team in football, but where are the Commanders on that pecking order? I don't know. They're down towards the bottom. So it's really difficult to bet this game, except I think it's going to be very ugly. Where are you on Giants Commanders?
Definitely ugly. That's for sure. So I'm going to the Giants. Look, this Commanders defense is so bad. It is absolutely atrocious. You look at the quarterbacks that have faced this defense over the last year. There are guys that are worse than Daniel Jones that have thrown good numbers and thrown touchdowns. There's one team that Daniel Jones has been good against in his entire NFL career, and it's Washington. Yep. That's the one team that he can beat. And if you look at how does Brian Daboll create a game plan that builds up Daniel Jones' confidence, it's getting completions. He can do that against the Commanders defense. There's no pass rush. He has guys that are going to get open. Malik Neighbors is going to get fed in this matchup. And if Malik Neighbors is cooking, that's going to get Daniel Jones' confidence up. I just think that when you're just looking at the entire roster, I think the Giants have a better roster overall than the Commanders, even when you're factoring their defense against Jaden Daniels. So both quarterbacks can run. I'm going to take the Giants here.
I can't wait just to see this because there are massive disagreements in the professional market as to who is going to win this game. And I would lean the Commanders. If I was going to bet this game, I'd lean the Commanders, but I'm not putting money on Jaden Daniels. I'm not putting money on a rookie quarterback. Look, this is a big game for the Giants. They got to calm some people down. People are really nervous about what the Giants might look like and how bad this year might go. And look, Daniel Jones has a lot of money invested in him. And if he's out here throwing pick sixes against the Commanders, divisional game, this is a big no play. I am on the Rams at Arizona. Sean McVay is 10-1 straight up in the last 5 years against the Cardinals. This number opened up at -2. It's a pick in Vegas. It's -1. This is wild. It's -1 at DraftKings for the Rams. Everywhere else is either pick or the Cardinals are favored in this one. I like this matchup coaching wise for Sean McVay. I know it's Puka Nacua. It stinks he's not there, but they still have Cooper Kupp. They still have a running game, and their defense is still good enough, I think, to slow down a Cardinal team that they own. Where are you on Rams Cardinals?
I'm going to disagree with you. I like the Cardinals here. Look, Again, you mentioned how good Sean McVay's been against Arizona. Well, a lot of that was Cliff Kingsbury, right? He was running circles around Cliff Kingsbury as an offensive schemer. Jonathan Gannon, I think, has gotten the most out of this Cardinals bunch since he became the head coach. They were battling for him last year in games they had no debate in terms of talent. clearly undermanned, and they still had games where they were upsetting teams. Dallas, for example, was in a game last year that they beat the Eagles and Steelers on the road. Kyler Murray is fully healthy here. And you look at who's not healthy, the Rams offensive line. This is a mess. So that's what concerns me. And for me, again, it opened up. I got some value in the Cardinals early on. I think our Cardinals +2. So that's kind of where I'm sitting on it. But from a game plan of who wins, Arizona's at home, I'm going to back the Redbirds.
I can't wait to watch this. This is going to be a fun game. Cincinnati and Kansas City, arguably the game of the day, the game in the window that they're going to be playing in, the 425 window. Cincinnati, they once called it Burrowhead when they go to Kansas City. That still sticks in Chief fans' craw. They do not like the Bengals. This is one of the underrated rivalries in the NFL. Number opened at 3.5. It's been bet to 6.5. It's might even, I don't know if we'll go to 7, but total is 48 here for this one. I have people on both sides standing on tables saying, wait a minute, look at the Bengals record against the Chiefs. They may not win, but they're going to cover that 6.5 points. And I got people saying the Chiefs are going to go in there and destroy because you have a questionable quarterback with the wrist injury for Joe Burrow, no practice with Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins being out means this offense cannot operate the way that it wants to, and they're missing Joe Mixon, who is now gone. I don't know what I'm doing with this game yet. Most likely, I'm in-gaming it, but who wins? Chiefs, Bengals.
Bengals upset special 2 weeks in a row, except this week it's not the Bengals losing. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati.
To win outright or just cover?
I mean, they're definitely going to cover, but it's at this point, if the game's going to be close enough where they're going to be covering, you might as well just take them on the money line to get the most bang for your buck. That's kind of the way I'm viewing it. Look, every game that they've played historically has been within 3 points. So you're getting +6.5 for the Bengals on the road. Matt, when I look at this game, who needs this more? The Bengals cannot go 0-2 or they're screwed. Right. Whereas the Chiefs are already looking ahead to December. They're like, oh, yeah, we're going to be all set. We got Marquise Brown. He'll come back in the playoffs. They know where they're going to be when January rolls around. They're going to be the 1-2 seed. Okay. They're going to be, but the Bengals, like, they just lost to the Patriots. Like this team has to win this game. So I like backing the Bengals here where they've had success. They're not going to go into Arrowhead and be afraid. Right. They've done before and gone in there. And I think that the fact that Chase has subsided this contract thing, I think this week was all business. Like, no, we're going to get back to winning. With another week of practice, he's not dealing with the sickness, the food illness or whatever that he was dealing with. I think you're going to see the Chase Burrow connection dialed in tonight on this game.
I can't wait to watch it because, I mean, you're right. Look at the division, okay? Steelers, Ravens. It's not easy for the Bengals to be in there. I think the Browns are trash, but I think you got two very good teams. The Bengals maybe overlooked the Patriots. Maybe they were game planning for week 2, and they just thought, okay, we'll just go very vanilla. We'll win game 1, move on. And all of a sudden they lost due to turnovers and everything that happened in that game against the Patriots. Patriots were in better shape than the Bengals were at a week 1. So maybe you're right. Maybe this is a chance. I'm watching this. I want 3. If I'm going to bet the Chiefs, I want 3. I think that's the right number. So I think if I was going to bet it pre, I would take the 6.5 and take the Bengals and say, all right, let's see it. And then maybe in game, if the Bengals get up, you can then go and take plus on the Chiefs, +3, +4 on the Chiefs, and then be on both sides. That's probably the way I'm going to play this game. I think it's a back and forth battle. I think you will have at some point during this game. I think you'll have a chance to take plus points on both sides. So I'd start with the dog at kickoff and then move into potentially taking the Chiefs at some point during the game. Denver and Pittsburgh. Boy, numbers 2.5. It hasn't moved. DraftKings just moved. It's 3. Okay, I'm wrong. Total is so low, 36.5. If this closes below 37, this is the lowest home game for the Broncos since the 2012 playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tim Tebow overtime slant game. It's been a long time since we've seen a total this low. We playing under with the Broncos and the Steelers?
All I know is if you're going to play the under in this game, I think the better bet to make at pretty crazy odds is just do no touchdowns.
Oh my.
That's what I would do. That's how I would approach it because the numbers are already so low. They're not getting more value on it. But the Steelers said last week, we're fine kicking field goals, right?
True.
We'll be more than happy to kick field goals. And if it weren't for the Broncos getting backdoor covers, safeties, interception, turnovers, they wouldn't have had an opportunity to score a touchdown last week. So again, I was talking about on the Best Bet show, the prop show, about how I like some anytime touchdowns for some of these lower level Broncos players. And Welsh and Joe are looking at me like, you think you're going to bet on anytime touchdowns for Justin Fields teams and Bo Nix teams? And I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I should just look at no touchdowns in this game whatsoever. So that's an interesting bet. I don't remember what odds I saw it at, but it was pretty long. So something to look into it.
It's I mean, if they don't score a touchdown in this game, I mean, Bo Nix scored a couple of touchdowns last week. I mean, I know it's the Steelers.
I mean,
TJ Watt.
The Steelers, man. I mean, TJ Watt's going to be in Bo Nix's nightmares tonight.
Yeah, I would lean towards the Steelers. That was one of the games that fell off my card late. I was like, man, I want to bet the Steelers, but the two professional sides are the Broncos and the Bears. And so I've teased them both. I've taken the Broncos up to 8.5. I've taken the Bears up to 12.5. I'm just going to ride with the pro side and just say, okay, both those teams aren't going to get blown out. If the Steelers win, I don't think they win by more than 8 points. That would be stunning. That'd be pick sixes and fumble recoveries for touchdowns. TJ Watt have to do what you just talked about, make Bo Nix go into the field position. And then I just think on the Sunday night game, I think the Bears have a shot here. This is another really popular money line survivor play that Houston's just going to roll over Chicago. But the numbers say that rookie quarterbacks making their second start, they're not great straight up, but they're much better against the number. They actually are pretty good against the number. I like the Bears to cover, but I'm going to tease it to 12.5. Where are you on on Bears and Texans?
I think that the Texans are going to put the NFL on notice tonight on Sunday Night Football. I think that this is going to be, yes, it's highlighted as, CJ Stroud versus Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was not great in his first start on the road or at home. And now he's making his first start on the road against a team that had Super Bowl contender aspirations. They played pretty well against the Colts. I don't think that it was a complete game plan in terms of, I don't think it was perfect for them, giving the ball a lot to Joe Mixon, but I just don't think the Bears have enough bodies to cover all of the receivers. And you look at Caleb Williams, he was supposed to have a strong trio. Well, he's got DJ Moore, but Keenan Allen might not play in this game. Rome Odunze is also banged up. I think that they're going to be undermanned. So maybe Caleb makes a couple wow plays here and there, but I think CJ Stroud is just so dialed in that it's like, hey, Caleb, yes, you want to be the next CJ Stroud? Well, sit down and watch, man. It's going to take a little bit of time. So I think the Texans show the AFC, hey, we're here. We have offense and defense as one of the best and well-rounded teams. So I think that it's going to be the Texans in a rout, honestly.
Interesting. Because my question is going to be, the Bears defense looked pretty good and the Texans offense was good, but the Texans defense wasn't great. I watched a lot of that game against the Colts and I was like, okay, you can make big plays against this, at least in week one. They give up a bunch of big plays. I just wonder if we're going to see a big play opportunity or two here on Sunday night. I think they win by 10. I think 12.5 points is too many. Maybe it's a complete and route like you think, but that's why I teased it up. Pros have been wrong before. It's, a pros versus Joe's game because everyone loves the Texans on the public side. The pros are going to hold their nose and take the Bears at plus 6.5, and it's down to 6. So we're seeing, actually one book's at 5.5. Wow. We're already seeing early movement here. We're at 5.5. DraftKings is at 5.5. Some places offshore are at 5.5. So we're seeing the move here this morning on Chicago from a professional market. So that's interesting. All right. Why don't you run through your best bets here and I'll do the same. Then I'll give the Wong teaser.
I think for me, I still just like Lamar Jackson under 29.5 passing attempts. I just have no confidence that, and this is something that I've learned from Ryan Wormley, who's one of our Ravens experts at Fantasy Pros. He has told me time and time again, the Ravens play the Chiefs completely different than every other team.
Interesting.
What they game plan for Kansas City is so different from what they do normally. In a normal game, they're going to feed the ball to Derrick Henry against the Raiders. Like that's what we're going to see here. And last year at home, Lamar Jackson only went under this number over 29.5 passing attempts 3 times. 2 of those games went to overtime, and the other game was against the Chiefs. So in a normal game plan where they're heavy favorites, they're going to feed Derrick Henry in this matchup. That just makes most sense to me. And I don't think we're going to see enough passing attempts from Lamar. And half the time he drops back, he's going to be running anyway. So that's my favorite prop.
Okay. So my plays today that I'm rolling with here, I'm taking the Bucs at plus 7.5 on the road against the Lions, Rams +1 against the Cardinals. Andrew and I disagree on that. He likes the Cardinals. I like the Rams. I'm laying the 4.5 on the road with the 49ers. I think it's a big overreaction for the Vikings. I don't think they're that good. Broncos +8.5 against the Steelers and the Bears at plus 12.5. From a player prop perspective, I bet this last week. I'm betting it again. Justin Watson over 16.5 yards receiving. He did it on 1 catch last week for the Chiefs. I think the same thing happens here. He goes deep, gets a 20-yard reception. Jacoby Brissett over 184.5 yard passing. Everyone's really angry about that bet. The reason why I think it happens is because I think you're going to see the Seahawks say we have to stop the run. Stevenson destroyed the Bengals last week, trying to make it Jacoby Brissett, and there's a chance the Patriots are behind, so Brissett's got to throw. 185 yards passing is not a lot. I know the Patriots receiving core is not that great, but the tight ends were decent last week. Trevor Lawrence over 14.5 yards rushing. I think he needs to do more. He needs to be more of a weapon running the football for that offense for the Jaguars. And I think Jaden Daniels under 51.5 yards rushing. I don't think the Giants are interested in watching him run all over them. And I think the quarterbacks that ran a lot in week number 1 won't be able to run as much in week number 2. Okay, before we roll here and wrap, got to find a Wong teaser. As of right now, it's Green Bay +8 and the Patriots +9. How ugly is that?
It's ugly, but I think it's going to cash. So that's all that matters.
That's really, really ugly. Remember, Wong teaser, we're looking at totals at 49. We're trying to get through 2.5, 2, 1.5 up to, get them past 7 and vice versa. If it's 7.5 or 8, we're pulling it down for teams trying to find their way down below 3. There's not a lot of options here as normally. I mean, you can look at Detroit at home, but I'm already on the line, the Bucs at +7.5. It's 8. I don't really want to pull it down and try to have 2 bets and try to really, it's a skill shot to say that Detroit wins by 3 and have Tampa Bay. I don't know. That concerns me to go ahead and do that. I'd rather just lose 1 bet with Tampa Bay than lose 2 bets, which is potentially possible because you need the second leg on that. So I'm going to avoid that. And if the number for Dallas got to 7.5, I would pull that down, but it's not. And I'm not interested in going up with New Orleans. And that doesn't fit a long teaser either. And then Baltimore, we could pull it down. You like the Ravens big?
No, I like the Raiders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can the Raiders win the game?
I don't think so. No.
So which is better to take I can do that. I can take the Ravens down to -2.
Yeah. That would
so Ravens.
Goal.
What?
That win by field goal. Yeah. That should be fine.
So which is uglier, Patriots +9 or Packers +8?
Packers. Packers is uglier. That game's just going to be ugly.
Well,
two quarterbacks that can't complete the ball.
Yeah, it's Malik Willis, right? All right, we'll take the Ravens and the Patriots. Those are 2 teams I'm looking for the most here. We'll go long teaser: Ravens -2, Patriots +9. Let's see what happens here today on this. Andrew, best of luck to all your bets and plays. I know you got to run to go do your stuff. Thank you for all you guys who are watching this every single Sunday. We're back here breaking down the slate. Monday night, people are asking what about Monday night. We got tons of stuff covered for you guys. That's tomorrow. Monday night's tomorrow. We'll get to all that on the Betting Pros YouTube channel. Andrew Erickson, Matt Perrault back next week here for week 3 of our NFL live stream.